Pro wrestling talk from the four corners of parts unknown. This is That Wrestling Podcast.
Welcome to That Wrestling Podcast, where we are going back-to-back weeks with Thursday editions. Surprise.
And back-to-back weeks where we don't talk about Kevin.
Well, that was
kinda.
Yeah, yes, that was the
Almost.
intention. Yeah. But we're not doing it this time. He's not here. By the time this is out, he is probably either en route to Indianapolis or he's in Indianapolis for the Big Ten tournament, watching probably, exciting Northwestern versus Indiana basketball. The whole world is captivated by.
No, he's going to be Michigan State, Maryland. Come on.
Oh, yes. Well, there's multiple games. That's why he's going, right?
Right.
So, yeah. So,
and where's Penn State at in this one?
As of recording, they are playing. So
They're playing.
I will give an update.
Is this the play-in for the Big Ten tournament?
Are
they in the Big Ten tournament?
Yeah.
If you have to do a play-in for the Big Ten tournament, don't show up.
If you're playing on Wednesday of the Big Ten tournament, you didn't do too good this year. All right, we'll do updates throughout the recording. Yes. 48-45. They are up by 3 against a Minnesota team. With 7.5 minutes left. So we'll check in with that as the show progresses. All right. Kevin's not here, but of course we do get to start as always with what are you wearing? What are you wearing? What are you wearing? What are you wearing today? What are you wearing? What are you wearing? What are you wearing today? So yes, Kevin, we don't know what he's wearing. Probably green, as Joe alluded to, for Michigan State being down in Indianapolis. I went with, I believe this was a Jason Marchuka Crate Christmas edition shirt of Johnny Gargano. I went with him because I don't think we just quickly got to mention that a couple weeks back, him and Candace had their baby, baby boy, Quill.
And they named him Star-Lord.
Is that Quill? Is that what that refers to?
I believe that's what
I don't know.
With all the Avengers gear that guy's had, I assume that it means, Peter Quill, Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2.
Yeah, so there you go. Proud new parents.
Congrats.
And we'll see where his wrestling future ends up, maybe in a couple of weeks or months. But shout out to the new parents.
Now,
Johnny
did you pick
Candace.
that because Raw was in Cleveland this past Monday, and you thought Gargano's going to make his return?
No. Well thought, though. Good point. No, I literally just thought I hadn't worn this. And hey, that was newsworthy from like 2 weeks ago that we totally overlooked because we were talking about Cody probably. What do you got, Jay?
So I went with the king of pro wrestling, Harley Race. Now, this isn't vintage anything, as this is just a remake. But it just has that old look. And I don't normally like shirts with guys' faces on them. I don't know why. I've just never been a fan. It's like it with bands too. I don't like that. Like, just give me the logo or whatever.
Yeah.
So I got the king of wrestling, Harley Race.
All right. Love it. Is that the 10 pounds of gold on his shoulder?
Yeah, that is the 10 pounds of gold. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
like that. Currently held by Matt Cardona.
Who?
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
One guy that made it big on the internet just to make it big on the internet again.
All right, Joe, what do you have?
Well, in honor of his debut at WrestleMania 12 and coming back to Texas, the Ringmaster, the original Ringmaster shirt. We're finally going to get the Ringmaster versus Kevin Owens, Matt, interview, brawl, match, whatever it is that we've all been waiting for. So go Ringmaster.
If he comes out with the $1 million belt, the roof will explode. Yes. All right. Speaking of shows, AEW Sunday night held Revolution. By all accounts, another fantastic show. And if you follow our social media, then you know that Jason was at a watch party at the Nerd Bar in Las Vegas. And so, Jason, kind of twofold, tell us about the watch party experience. And then, of course, just your thoughts on the show, too.
Watch party was good. It was set up, a couple tables in the back and then all chairs, which I made sure, we got there early enough to get a table, which is good because I'm weird about sitting next to strangers. I just am.
Yeah.
And in Vegas, masks were not required anywhere, so like it's just a whole thing. Then Sabu was there doing a signing, and unfortunately, I did not see anybody go over to him. He had that Virgil Jace thing, which I felt awful. And I'm not gonna lie to you. Never lied to you guys on this podcast. I drank a lot on Sunday.
Okay, that's all right. You're on vacation in a sense, right? It's a little trip.
Yes. A lot of the pay-per-views kind of a blur. Yeah, I drank a lot and just, I don't cut loose very often. And poor Doc, friend of the show, Mike Doherty, had to deal with my ass, and yeah, it was a rough night. So
there was
what's up, Doc?
one. Yeah, what's up? Nice one, Jeff.
Can we rock?
Yeah, what? So there was one post or tweet that I didn't get any of the connection to. That was just like, "Where's the nugs?" or "Jason orders the nugs."
Okay, yeah.
I'm like,
so all right.
And so when you say you drank a lot, that maybe you started to piece it together. That it shouldn't have made sense.
On Instagram, they have these little stories, and people have turned these TikTok things where they have some voice that makes it look like their dog's talking. And there is this set of videos. I laugh uncontrollably every time. It's someone driving up to a drive-thru, and it's this voice supposed to be the dog saying, "Tell the lady I want the nuggets." Why isn't she opening the window?
Okay.
I just and I was showing Doc some of those videos because I just laugh uncontrollably, and they're stupid. And then you get drunk and you start saying dumb shit, and mine was, "Tell the lady I want the nuggets." So
nice.
But the Nerd Bar was super badass. Go to @thatwrestlepod on socials to see some pictures, including those who were on social media during the Jade match, because nobody gives a shit about Jade. TBS doesn't stand for that bitch show. It stands for that bitch sucks. She's boring. Ooh. Boring. So
bring
at that
heat.
WrestlePod to check out photos.
And the acronym still works. So good job.
That's what it stands for. Yes.
But
well thought out.
Of course, the pay-per-view, like I said, a little blurry, but it was a great show as always.
Yeah.
I mean, just it took me a minute, and then I thought I knew what was going on with the CM Punk entrance, and then Doc confirmed that it was the AFI music, and I know this was not booze oriented. Punk is now getting the Cody entrance in the middle.
Was in the middle.
He came out the middle, and Doc's like, no, I'm like, he's getting the Cody entrance until Cody comes back. And then the white shorts, the dog collar match he had with Raven many years ago, very throwback. And I mean, Christ, within 5 days, he took 2 bloodbaths. I'm no doctor, but that can't be healthy to lose a lot of blood like that twice in a week. But it's the end there. But it doesn't matter because MJF beat Punk twice in Chicago, and Wardlow, that bastard, screwed MJF. I'm talking for Kevin, who is not here tonight.
Yeah,
he told me to say that.
Talk about Kevin.
Okay,
right. What's his name?
So, but it was just a great pay-per-view, and then obviously we are recording on Wednesday. We just watched Dynamite, and some great follow-ups, some interesting occurrences during Dynamite tonight. And I know I'm not the host, but I'm just going to go with this. Were either of you excited for the Jeff Hardy appearance?
I wasn't excited because it was so telegraphed, but I thought the moment was fine. And I'm looking forward to seeing anything to get Matt Hardy out of this money Hardy family office. I've hated that from the moment it happened. So if you just get a last run of vintage Hardy boys, they had a little Jeff Hardy and Darby kind of looking in the mirror, almost like, the Spider-Man meme pointing, right? That's Jeff Hardy and Darby. Like, that's fun. I can get into that. What about you, Joe? Yeah.
I got to say that I wasn't excited for it, but I'm happy for him
Yeah.
If that makes sense, because he did the little look for Darby. Darby did the same thing, and then he did this for Sting. So that's a throwback to everyone who knows about TNA. Yeah, he did this to Sting, and Sting did the head nod to like, yeah, we're good. And you know what? Like, there's some unfinished business between him and CM Punk too. So
that could be fun.
We do have a story with him being there, and plus Matt's always better when Jeff's around. Sorry, but it's true.
If I was Matt Hardy, I'd be pissed because I'm getting my ass kicked, and that motherfucker comes out
was dancing.
Like, don't dance.
He was
Go save your brother, asshole. Nero.
I was thinking the same thing. It's like if I was in the ring getting whooped, and my brother came out and decided to dance before he came to the ring, I'd be like, thanks for nothing.
Thanks, bro. That's pretty erratic behavior. I wonder if they'll have to drug test him after just in case.
I just want to know how much they had to pay for the song.
Yeah,
that's what I want to know.
So it's interesting because I saw little threads about this as that happened. So that's not a WWE property song. Apparently, it's some sort of evergreen song that like somebody posted on Twitter, like, I knew it wasn't a WWE song because I saw it like on the background of like Ink Masters, like a tattoo show, right?
Oh, all right.
So they didn't pay WWE. It was kind of like licensed to whoever wants to pay the license. And I guess Tony said, yeah, let's pay the license. Sure. And that's good because who needs a new generic Hardy Brothers theme?
Who needs a Willow song?
No
say
thanks.
It, Joe.
Sign more guys. Sign more guys. I messed up last week. I didn't miss my cue this week.
You nailed it. Nailed it.
Knew it was coming. A couple other of the highlights that I noted from Revolution, and then you had follow-ups today. We got Swerve. We got Swerve there, and he's going to be doing his debut match Friday on Rampage in a 205 live reunion that the world was waiting for with Tony Nese. So when Tony Nese entered the picture, I went, oh no. But I'm sure it'll be a good match. It's just, that's not fun. What do we think about Regal?
I like it. It's old school. It's, shoot could potentially be like, I'm just, badass. And then tonight they followed up on it. I mean, it's going to be good. I don't think they go the way of Evolution and try to recruit some young guys, even though they talked about that early on.
Yeah.
Just let it be this. Let it be the 2-man power trip with Regal. It'll be all good for me.
I liked it. I liked that he brought some history back to it, but it did seem like he was rambling on a little bit too long and stumbled a little bit over how long he's been in the U.S. At one point, it was 29 years. Another point, it was 39 years. So I think it was just a matter of like just ring rust, even on the microphone, because beforehand beforehand he just yelled War Games.
Yeah.
So
and it was always a pre-tape.
Yeah, and it was always a pre-tape. So I agree with you, Jason, that it should just be those three. It works. Both of them fit him a little bit. It's like you got the unhinged and you got the wrestling technician. So let's just keep it the way it is. And as long as he's not carrying a laminated menu on the sidelines, I'm happy.
Well, we got Tully Blanchard fired tonight, so I'm good with that. That's a good start.
Finally.
Yeah.
Unless, they talked about family and how he has a family. Tessa Blanchard is not signed by a major company. She's doing a lot of work with WOW, Women of Wrestling.
Yeah,
they're getting ready to start filming some episodes. So, I would love to see Tessa in AEW, but with history and, potential PR issues, that's why they're probably staying away. And I've met her within the last year, and she was so nice, like just unbelievably nice. She needed help with her bag, and I helped her bag, carried up a few flights of steps, like just super nice. So whatever the deal is, I wonder how much of it's real and how much of it is just made up. But Tully Blanchard's gone. Maybe Arn's next because Cody's gone. Oh wait, he might just be gone.
We'll get to that. We got plenty of Cody talk to come, but maybe Arn is off doing other things.
Maybe they'll work with the Workhorsemen.
What the fuck was that?
Oh man, that was bad. I'm so glad they got their asses kicked.
Yeah, Mox and Danielson took care of that. I loved how it played out too, just on Revolution, how the match was over and they're still fighting. And Regal comes out to be like the voice of reason, and he slaps them, and how it, like said, to come together. And so, yeah, it continued on tonight. So I'm a fan of that. We've certainly spent time talking about sign more guys. I'm fine with him because of, it's the old Rock line. Know your role. He's going to be fine in that role. I don't want to see 6-man tags with Regal in there, right? No thanks. But
he can wear a shirt.
Just
like Sting.
No, thanks. But how about that?
No, Sting. he'll wear a suit still with no tie.
Yeah. Business casual.
He'll wear a suit jacket with a t-shirt under it.
Sting, though, man, jumping off the freaking balcony onto the double tables. What in the world from Revolution? That was crazy seeing that clip. He's 63 years old. Ugh. All right.
Age is just a number, man. I guess.
Man.
I'm at 45 and I'm like, no fucking way.
Yeah. So
I'm swearing
I'm 42 and it's sore when I put my socks on in the morning. So
I know.
Kudos to him.
I gotta stop swearing. I've swore way too much this episode. My bad. My
jar is overflowing. How about Inner Circle? No more. Jericho, after manning up, shaking Kingston's hand, he gets attacked by 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. Santana Ortiz, they make the save, but when they hand the bat to Jericho, he proceeds to do the turn and nails them. Hager comes down. He's kind of conflicted. I don't know what to do, but then he joins Jericho, and the name appears to be the Jericho Appreciation Society.
Shirts up right now on Pro Wrestling Tees. Shop
that
AEW.
Quick already. Wow.
Nah, it's lame. I didn't like the Inner Circle, but I grew to like that one. This one, I don't know. If this is just going to be a bunch of young guns and Jericho who like kiss his ass. I'm not sure how I feel about that. But this Fozzy tour is coming up, so I'm curious how often he's going to be around.
I'm with you, Jay. I wasn't a fan of this. I thought it was kind of. I think because of 2.0 and Garcia, I'm not feeling them right now.
Hager helps.
Hager helps. I rewatched it, and it's always like wrestling. You have to throw logic out the window, but those guys did kind of attack Jericho when they came
weeks
down.
ago, yeah.
And weeks ago, right? So it's like, okay, there's that. But even just tonight, like they ran down to the ring and they tried to play it off like, oh, Jericho's got a hurt neck, because they were really just kind of like standing on him. It wasn't that bad, but it's always funny how those things come together. Like, but you were beating me up, and maybe you could have just beat them up the whole time, but you didn't. But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't feeling this. It was a surprise, but
it was a swerve.
I don't think I was feeling it for the simple fact it was one of the worst beat downs on television. Like there was no contact selling whatsoever. Like Jericho with the bat was just like, and
right.
And even like the stomping stuff like that. They're professionals, give them the benefit of the doubt, but I wasn't feeling it on either side. And Hager having trouble getting Kingston up for the power bomb.
Oh yeah,
and I felt bad for Kingston, like with his landing, because he was like this, holding his back of his head the whole time, because he's like, he don't got me. He's like, he don't got me.
So he was going head first.
He knew that Hager did not have him. So I thought it was sloppy. I love the promo between the two guys.
Oh yeah.
I like that we're getting a little change with Jericho being heel and
looking like Dolph Ziggler.
Well, he's here to show the world that everyone appreciates him. But it's just the beating and the power bomb was very sloppy. So that's why I'm not sold on it, because of that. We'll see what happens next week.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we'll give Jericho all the benefit of the doubt. He's turned so many things that we go, I don't know, and made it really good. So it won't surprise me if in a month from now that we go, you know what? I changed my mind. It's working, but not a good start. I didn't think either. And then Scorpio Sky, TNT champ. He hadn't lost in a year. I don't remember him wrestling in a year. So it's funny how that works. But
it was on AEW Dark.
It sure was.
Monday night's YouTube.
Yeah. Dark Elevation, not even regular Dark Elevation.
But so it'll be him and Wardlow next week. Is that right?
I don't think they set a date for that, but I mean, I'm glad it happened. I thought from day one, Scorpio Sky should have been in the main event picture. He should have been in the title picture. For it to take this long to get a singles title, I'm glad it happened. It's god awful Paige Van Zant now.
Yep, she's like there. Brandy contract,
like Brandy on the mic, awful. That's how bad she is on talking, and she just looks out of place. And her trash talk's garbage. Like, if you know anything about her MMA career, she had a few good moments, but she wasn't that great. She was more about her Instagram page than the UFC stuff. And she did bare knuckle boxing recently, and she's going to give wrestling a try, which is great. I just hope that they just keep her off the mic and keep her off TV for a while, because she's not good.
Dan Lambert can handle that part of that. He's really good. Would either of you like to give a breaking news sounder? Thank you, Joe. With 1 minute left, Penn State up 59-49 on Minnesota. Boom. Okay, we're moving on, it looks like, but we'll give the final score in just a little bit. Thank you for that. All right, so the big stuff happened in the world of AEW. Monday Night Raw. So it starts off with a incredible 3-team tag title match. The Alpha Academy, RK Bro, Seth and KO. So good. And Orton with the RKO on Gable's moonsault. That's going to be replayed for years. Oh my God.
So good. So good.
So RK Bro, they're the new champs, and they really start to play up that, well, now Seth and KO, they're maybe not going to go to Mania. They don't have plans. The night continues. Joe said, "Sure, brother."
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
Whatever you say, Jimmy Smith. So KO in the backstage interview, he says, he has.
Now here's the Miz and Logan Paul, who are going to WrestleMania.
Yeah, how can we possibly find time for them on a 2-night show? But so KO says,
stupendous 2-night show.
It sure is. So KO says, he's got a plan. He's going to talk about it at the end of the night. He comes out. Show concludes with him calling out Stone Cold Steve Austin to appear on the KO show at WrestleMania. And then you go to Tuesday, online video. Steve cuts a great promo, says it's been 19 years since his last match. And whatever you want to call it, a match, a brawl, a fight, he's coming to open up one last can of whoop ass on Kevin Owens. I think WWE is deliberately keeping this very gray, because it's being promoted as the Kevin Owens show, but Austin's saying, it doesn't matter what's called, we're going to fight. And they're talking about 19 years. What are you guys' thoughts on how this kind of came together?
I think it's going to be the KO show on Saturday to set up a match on Sunday.
Thank you. I love it.
I was just thinking,
as the person that first brought you the idea of Stone Cold Steve Austin and Joe assisting with Kevin Owens at WrestleMania, I feel that's how it has to go. Because if they're going to start, if it was just a fighter match, it would have just been
sorry, the peanut gallery reactions.
The heart on the screen just threw me off. I could not be more happy this is going to happen, especially because I'm going to be there. So
yeah. Credit to you, Jay. I love that idea. That was heart on the screen, not hard on the screen. Just for those of you listening at home, if you had to rewind,
you threw me off with an emoji. If you're,
I did.
You threw me off with a heart emoji on the screen, so yes. I went back with the heart on the screen.
Joe, your thoughts on how this came together, and where maybe it goes to at Mania?
They needed something for Saturday, because everything they were promoting for Saturday night's WrestleMania made me WrestleMania Saturday. Everything that they've been promoting that's going to be on Saturday made me not upset that I'm probably going to miss Saturday's WrestleMania. So they needed this to be something big, because everything else has been like all the good things have been promoted for Sunday.
Yeah.
So I didn't even think about
Hold that thought.
the setup of
The only thing that I remember being announced for Sunday is Roman and Brock. Are there other things on Sunday that have been announced?
Look at all the things that have been announced for Saturday.
The two women's matches.
Becky,
She Who Shall Be Not Be Named versus Ronda. And then we have, what do we have? Logan Paul and The Miz versus the Mysterios. Yawn. Becky and Bianca, I'm actually excited about.
Bianca.
But like, what else has been announced for Like, nothing's been announced for Sunday except for the title unification match. And
but they can't figure out what's going on with that, because first it was winner take all and be both champs. Then it was title unification, so it's one champ. And then I've been reading reports that there's going to be two brand champions after WrestleMania. So I don't know what the hell is going to happen there.
Oh, I think the women's tag match triple threat has also been announced for Saturday.
But Joe, you said that everything on
up.
Sunday was better than Saturday.
There's only been one everything that's been announced on Saturday so far has been yawn. So they needed this, and I didn't even think about the chance that it could be the next night. I think there's only a 48% chance it's going to be the next night that they'll have a match, but still, there's still a chance.
You just want to be wrong and wrong and wrong. Keep your streak going. That's cool.
So what? Cool. So what is?
I have the same streak as Jade and Baron Corbin. Happy Corbin.
Beautiful.
And so Scorpio Sky.
For what's kind of because there's this gray of it's the show, it's a match, it's maybe one a night, two nights. What's kind of your minimum that you're gonna walk away going, that was good? Do you have is it simply like, hey, as long as I get a stunner and the glass shatter, cool, or are you at the point where I do need a match of some sort?
Well, I mean, whether I get one or both, I'm going to be good. I think it's just a cool thing. And I mean, honestly, as long as the segment on Saturday is fun and entertaining, I'm good. I'm not negative. I'm an easy to entertain kind of guy. So I'm thinking anything is going to be good on Saturday, unless Austin doesn't catch the beer when it's thrown to him, or whatever, he doesn't get up after he hits the stunner. I just think it just needs to be fun and entertaining.
I think if it's going to be half as good as when it was Austin Piper at WrestleMania, the Piper Spit, where I like you too, and they just started slapping each other. Yeah. If it's half as good at that, I'll be happy, because that is the ultimate legend segment in my mind. So I think KO has a chance of making this great. Austin definitely has a chance of making this great. And the crowd is going to be on fire for this no matter what happens.
Agree. So guys, I pulled up, here's the card on Saturday and Sunday. So we can kind of look at this again a little bit closer. So Saturday, Joe is right. Yeah. Logan and the Miz versus the Mysterios. Drew versus Happy Corbin. Bianca versus Becky, the segment of KO and Austin, and Ronda and Charlotte. So that's night one. Right now for night two, the four things: Knoxville and Sammy, McAfee, Austin Theory, Edge versus AJ, and Brock and Roman. So yeah, I think right now night two has a little more heat to it than night one.
Yeah, and I mean, the only bad thing about night one is Corbin McIntyre. The rest are going to be a lot of fun. Great times.
Yeah. All right, so we talked about Steve. Last week, too, we had the big Vince McMahon, Pat McAfee interview. Some of the highlights for me, Vince saying that he trains from 1:30 in the morning to 3 in the morning. And talking about the future of WWE and somebody taking over or selling. Him saying that he's probably expected more from his family than what he's got. Hello. Did Shane just start crying in the corner when he said that? Vince saying that he does not look at any advice or reaction from the internet audience. Mm-hmm.
I don't blame him.
Vince also hates being late, and he doesn't give a fuck why someone is late. So that was another.
That's how I live. I don't care why
you live like Vince.
Yeah, I agree too. Like I'd rather be a half hour early than 1 minute late, and that's the way I've always done. And I don't have anyone in my family in military. It's just the way it's respect.
Same.
Yeah. He went on about that. Like I don't want to hear
what about his under the comment of what he thought of Michael Cole?
Yes,
horrible human being. Yeah, horrible human being.
That made me
horrible human being.
McAfee made me laugh when he's like,
on SmackDown.
Well, no, just
on the interview.
Sorry,
okay.
Yeah, just as part of the interview when he said to Vince, kind of casually, of like, you came from this poor background, now you've got so much money, and Vince goes, I don't really look at that sort of thing, and Pat goes, I do. I looked it up on the internet. It's been millions. So I was laughing at that. In terms of actual news, Vince announces he is inducting the Undertaker in the Hall of Fame. We talked a little bit about who should do that and thought that would be an appropriate spot. So glad that is coming together. And also Pat McAfee was given a match. And we find out later that on SmackDown that it's Austin Theory. We'll get into that in a second. But guys, any just other overall impressions and highlights from the interview?
I like he made the comment. He goes, I like confrontation.
Yes, he did say that. Yes.
Laughing. And I mean, there was a million things throughout that video or the interview, but it was just cool to see it. I'm glad it was just, okay, Pat, we're going to give you a match. And Austin Theory didn't break through the wall like the Kool-Aid Man or, none of Vince got up in McAfee's face. I'm just glad it was what it was.
Yeah.
And I don't realistically believe that if you're a wrestling fan, you did not enjoy it. Because if you were thinking, he's good, because there was a couple times he could have shit all over AEW and he didn't. Like, that was very smart, and it just shows that they're not competition to him right now.
Joe, other thoughts, impressions?
I don't think you needed to be a wrestling fan to enjoy it. I just think you had to be a sports fan in general, because
that's
Vince McMahon is above wrestling. And Pat McAfee is one of the best interviewers in the business, no matter who he's interviewing, whether it be football, basketball, baseball, whatever.
Yeah.
I listened to it. I watched it. It was just entertaining. And it looked like those two had a great time doing it. Yeah. And that's what made it even better. It wasn't confrontational. Like I said last week when I went, please don't try to recreate the Bob Costas interview from 20 years ago. They didn't do that. It was obviously two guys who respected each other. McAfee, who respected McMahon more, but McMahon actually played it off like he respected Pat McAfee too, like he enjoyed his company, and that made it even better. Yep. So kudos from both sides.
Agree. Yeah, seeing Vince in that sort of casual interview setting with just kind of rambling on. He wasn't drinking a beer, but it wouldn't felt out of place by just kind of how his tone was and how he was talking. And it was a fascinating insight into how this guy ticks, because he's one of a kind. It truly seems that way. So then so SmackDown rolls around. And they talk about the interview, and Austin Theory was like, "Oh, it's who's coming up next in my opponent," and he comes out, and the match is going to be, I think, really good. I'm excited for that, because Austin has a ton of potential, and McAfee, as we've seen in his NXT stuff, can do some really cool things. But it's funny to see Austin be like, "Vince set you up. He tricked you," and it's like, did you really watch the interview? nothing like that was alluded to. So I don't know.
Well, I did tweet out that Austin Theory is the new Hornswoggle, as in he is the answer to all the questions no one asked. Who sold the egg? Austin Theory. Who's facing McAfee? Austin Theory.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I told you guys, I feel that Austin Theory is going to be the next John Cena.
Yeah, and I think you might have said in your predictions maybe champ by the end of the year. Does that sound right?
No.
Man, we're on two different pages. You're saying John Cena. I'm saying he's the next Hornswoggle.
Yep, Joe.
He's talented.
I am so wrong on so many levels.
That segment was a lot of fun on SmackDown. I watched it when I got back from Vegas, and I thought McAfee was going to say the F word.
Yeah, it seemed like he was.
I'm surprised I didn't just say the F word, but it was cool. And how he looked at Cole, he's like, "You're a horrible person. Vince told me so."
Yeah.
And then the face wash and the selfies and
we'll see how it goes. It was kind of an odd,
calling him a punk ass bitch, and then his microphone wouldn't work. It's like, trying to grab the extra ones and
hey, we're live, pal. Yeah.
So fun. So, but Brian, that's going to be a fun match too. So
looking forward to that.
Now, real quick from SmackDown. Sorry to take over here, but
you're good.
Who was surprised Ricochet won the Intercontinental Championship?
Yeah, that was a shock.
I was shocked.
I was hoping, and I remember, I think it was you, Joe, maybe a week or so ago, that was like, what? The Intercontinental title, Johnny Knoxville and Sammy. So I that wasn't you.
I was hoping, praying. I was hoping, praying, pleading that we wouldn't have Johnny Knoxville face Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship because they spent 20 years making fun of David Arquette with the WCW championship. At least David Arquette was in his late 20s, early 30s. He wasn't in his 50s going after a championship. So
that's what, when that match
I'm glad
was set
it didn't
up,
happen.
Yeah. So when it was set up, I wasn't completely surprised. I mean, I was definitely surprised, but that's, clearly they were thinking the lines of view of they don't need to do an Intercontinental title match with Johnny Knoxville. So good for Ricochet. I think I tweeted out something to the effect of, for so long it's been, hey, he needs a push, that you kind of stopped doing it because it's been so long. And so now he finally gets it, and hopefully it turns out to be a nice run for him.
I think we all agreed in the draft episode that Ricochet going to SmackDown, it's make or break for him. It's either he's going to make it here or he's not going to make it at all. It took a couple months, but he's finally done something.
Yeah.
Side note on Ricochet, Brian, you had asked if Joe or I or Kevin was going to pick up WWE 2K22.
Yeah,
it comes out tomorrow, Friday. I don't know. On Up, Up, Down, Down this week, there's been a few different videos of Xavier Woods with Baszler, Ricochet, Shelton Benjamin, and a couple of the creators of the game, and playing it and stuff. And Ricochet is kind of funny. They were talking about if you had to wear a mask to wrestle. And Ricochet is like, I kind of did that. And then because of his Lucha Underground time when he was Prince Puma.
Oh, okay.
And they all had a little giggle at him. Yeah. They're like, you had to do that. So, but Up, Up, Down, Down on YouTube. Check it out. I mean, the game looks fun. And from the control, they've changed the control setup apparently. It used to be really hard for me. And this one seems like it's a little bit easier. So I might pick it up this year. So
all right, yeah,
I'm actually thinking. When you sent the tweet, when you sent the text, I basically said pass.
Yeah,
I'm really starting to push towards maybe now. I might get it next week just to try it out. I don't know why. I just all of a sudden went. I haven't bought a wrestling game since 2K17.
Okay, yeah,
and that one disappointed me because the one I bought prior to that was 2K14, and I bought all the downloadable figures, characters.
Content.
Yeah, the content. And 2K14 is still my favorite because it has Steiner NWO, Macho Man NWO.
Oh, wow.
It has Hall and Nash, NWO, and Hall and Nash Outsiders. Which is it has all of that stuff, and it even has Six Pac and things like that, and Mr. Perfect NWO. So it has a lot of NWO characteristics on there. So that's still my favorite game. But this one, I'm kind of curious to see about the new engine, like Jason was saying
I am too. So
and if we both get it, we may play it in a year or so.
Yeah, I know. So if you're new to the show, Joe and I both have PS5s, and we're like, yeah, we'll play together. And we've been trying to convince Brian to get any kind of system, and he just said no.
He's got the Wii.
Joan, I just haven't gotten a chance to play.
It just hasn't.
We just haven't
happened yet.
Yeah.
So there are 3 different versions: the standard, the super cool version, and then there's like the NWO for life version. I don't know what the fuck the difference is, but I just swore again. And yeah, so like I said, I'm on the fence too. I'm going to Disneyland for a couple days, so maybe on the way back I'll stop somewhere and pick it up.
Yeah.
Well, if you get it, then that's probably going to tip me over to actually get it as well. So I'll let you make the decision. No, because I already said I'm on the fence. So
all right, well, teeter over. Come to the dark side.
Whatever. You still have a Nintendo Wii, and you stop there. So
yep. Oh, I'm loving my retro Nintendo that Jason gifted me a couple of weeks ago. I beat Super Mario the other day.
Oh yeah? How long was it a quick like rip right through, or
no? It took me a long time, but I will.
Funny.
Let's see if I got. Yeah,
I mean,
your princess is in another, not in another castle because you beat her. You found her. Well, I didn't beat the princess. That's terrible.
You beat the princess.
The quest is over. Yeah. So yeah, you beat the game, and then you press B, and all the Goombas are like the Beetle guys. It's like you keep playing. I was like, what? I didn't know. So I'm reliving my childhood. Thanks, DJ.
How much time are you spending on that thing?
About a half an hour a day.
Oh, that's it. Okay,
that's not bad.
Yeah, on average,
Have you beat Tyson yet?
And lower. No, because I got caught up in Super Mario. I got to Mr. Sandman, who's like the second to top guy of Tyson, and then I got onto this thing, and my daughter Harper is into Mario. She loves Mario, loves watching Mario YouTube videos, and so something for me and her to like start on. And then I was like, hey, I never beat Mario as a kid. Let's see if I can do this. And so happy days are here again.
Does Harper play?
Yeah.
Does she get it? Like what she's supposed to do? Okay.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, she's not great by any stretch. She'll fall in the holes pretty easily. But no, she totally gets it. She likes Mario 3 because he flies. You can fly.
The raccoon, yeah.
We go back and forth. Like I'm Mario and she's Luigi, so we take turns. So like if I beat a level, then it's her turn next, right? So like it's not like constantly waiting for me to die. I play. So yeah, she's all about it, man.
That's awesome.
It's awesome.
I'm glad I could bring you and your daughter together.
Gift of the year, completely. Yes, and now
coming up next on that video game podcast.
and the one guy who's probably the most into it isn't on the show.
We don't talk about him.
Exactly. We'll see if he has 2K22 thoughts when he's on maybe next week. Quick breaking news center. Final, the good guys 60, the Groundhogs of Minnesota 51. Penn State faces Ohio State in Indianapolis tomorrow, or today if you're listening to this. So hopefully our fourth member of the show will bring my school some good luck along with his school. All right, so Thursday night, I am at the Tool Show, and excuse me, I make sure I step out in the lobby to check my phone. As you know, Jay, they will arrest you if you dare record.
Anal probe too.
Yes, it's pretty harsh.
Crazy.
To check my phone, and I get a text from Jay during the show with a link to a NoDQ.com article saying that talks between Cody and WWE have quote unquote fizzled out. Since then, Meltzer's basically said that the writing team was instructed to plan for Cody for Mania, but now they're saying it's very uncertain. Negotiations have hit a snag. He has multiple offers and he has to make a decision. WWE wants the decision made soon for obvious reasons. The ball is in his court. All right. Jace, you go last, all right? Because this is big for you. Joe, I mean, what do you make of this? If you're WWE, don't you have to get this done? What are you thinking here, my friend?
If you're WWE, you don't have to get this done. They can move on from this and still be fine. But if you're Cody and you're really serious about going back to WWE, you have to get this done. Yeah. But I'm on the fence. I'm actually believing that these are all leaked to make it a surprise that he shows up. Possibly. I actually think that this is all fake news to show up in WWE.
Would you say it would be a work?
Yeah. But the thing is, after tonight's Dynamite, with Scorpio Sky winning the TNT title,
yes, plural.
Apparently there's still two. Who was feuding with Brandy before they left?
Paige Van
Dan
Zandt.
Lambert. Dan Lambert.
And look who signed tonight, and Dan Lambert. So
on Take Cody's ass.
And Cody is Mr. TNT Championship. So that kind of sets it up where he could make the AEW return. So I don't think the WWE has to react. WrestleMania is going on with or without Cody. He's not the main event. So moving on.
I don't think he's the main event, but look at Monday Night Raw.
I don't think he'll ever be the main event.
Well, listen, and if he's not,
he doesn't get a separate tunnel coming out of the Titantron.
No, but that's the thing. He wasn't really that guy in AEW, at least not after a little bit of time where it was he could never go for the heavyweight championship. He was always in just like that upper mid card. And so that's an okay spot, right? But I mean, I think
it's okay in AEW.
Sure. But listen, I think it sets up perfectly. And I'm not whether it's a work, whether it's not, I who knows? We have to wait and see. But I think it sets up perfectly that we just talked about how, oh no, Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins, they don't have a plan for WrestleMania. Well, Kevin Owens does now. What is Seth Rollins going to do? Raw this Monday, Jacksonville, Florida, AEW's home. How about it? Cody comes out and we get Cody and Seth, because I don't know what else you can do with Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. He needs a big match. Lashley apparently is hurt and he's not coming back for a little while, it sounds like. Does anybody have any ideas? What could you do with Seth that you think would be appropriate?
It makes sense, Brian.
Yeah.
It does.
I don't know what else you could. That's where I can't think of the Seth plan B.
Shane. Now, what's weird, since this whole thing with Shane happened, he's been tweeting a lot. He's everywhere, taking pictures with everybody. So maybe he really is gone. But if he's not, maybe it's all part of the story. I don't know. I mean, that obviously would have made more sense for the Austin Theory match or if it was Shane with the McAfee match. But I don't really know what else you could do. And you're right. If it is Cody, cool. But if not, maybe, he has a kid to watch now. So
go ahead there, Joe. You're doing hand signals.
Veer. Seth versus Veer.
Okay.
If you can't get Cody, Veer is coming to Raw. It's been set up for months. Who else but Seth freaking Rollins versus Veer?
I love it. I would
Sunday night, because that card is stacked.
That's not, I'd love a Seth Rollins open challenge where everybody thinks it's Cody and Veer comes out, and I think everybody would go nuts for Veer. Like, you're finally here,
yes.
Veer.
Well, you would have children crying in the stands with close
you'd have grown men. You'd have grown men crying in the stands.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I want to see the woman who cried at Macho Man and Elizabeth reuniting.
Right.
There too. I want to just see the whole crowd in Jacksonville crying when Veer finally shows up to face Seth freaking Rollins.
Yeah, Jay, you could be there live.
48% chance it's happening.
Veer tweets a lot, and today it was him sitting in IKEA saying that IKEA lets me sit for a while. So,
that wacky Veer.
Look, I've said from the beginning.
Yes, you have.
That I don't think he's going to WWE.
Yeah.
I felt like it would make sense if he did, but no one's going to believe him in the way of Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar, and I feel like that's where he thinks he should be, because the rumor is he wanted CM Punk money, and that's why it kind of went sideways. I honestly think that if he shows up in Jacksonville, he gets booed because of the Jacksonville faithful that go to WWE, even though they like AEW. And
I would think that there's enough people in the crowd like us that we enjoy it all, right? That they'd be like, holy shit, Cody, yay.
Not in Florida. I agree with Jason. He'll get booed.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
But more importantly, if he does not show up, I will become very unbearable because if I get my 52-48,
yes, I know. I understand.
You all will have to say my name.
Yeah, we'd have to bend the knee. I've heard that phrase said a lot.
Say my name.
Acknowledge you, right? Yeah.
Just say my name.
Yeah, I'm nervous about it. But it's fun to speculate. We'll see how it plays out on Monday if it does play out. Just some quick notes. Vader going into the Hall of Fame. Joe, you were throwing out the V for
that's
Veer,
what I thought you were doing.
But that was the original man who did the V.
Right. Well, I had to think of something because it's like, you were talking. I don't want to interrupt, but Veer. Yeah, Vader. It's about Vader. Time.
It's Vader.
It's about
time.
Vader time.
Yeah.
Bad pun, but you know what? If they weren't going to make it 100% Undertaker, having Vader there, come out, obviously he's not coming out, but family come out, that's fine. It's something that's long overdue. It's someone who's been respected in the business for his entire career. Why not? Just if you're gonna have the Undertaker be the headliner, make it people there who are all long overdue. So if they're gonna add someone else to it, Jason, I'm sorry to steal your thunder, but I gotta say it.
Cyndi Lauper.
Yes, Cyndi Lauper. We're gonna add someone else to this class. That's why I did the pause because I was hoping you were catching on that. Cyndi Lauper, and then end it.
I've been saying Cyndi Lauper to the Hall of Fame since we started this podcast. We did some did some practice episodes, and we were doing practice 5 counts and stuff. And Cyndi Lauper to the Hall of Fame was something I have wanted for a while. It makes sense. There's some women too that
not in the celebrity wing.
No, just in the talent wing. Also, word that Sid Vicious / Justice
that's the
might
rumor,
also get inducted this year. I would love to see Demolition. I know it's not going to happen because they have their own beef and stuff.
And neither will the Steiner brothers.
Right. Which this year would have made sense because of Braun Breaker's.
Yeah, you think maybe Braun could bridge the gap there.
It'll be next year because Braun will be in the main event of WrestleMania Night 2.
Wishful thinking. Let's hope.
No, that's not a prediction. That's a spoiler.
Ooh, my goodness.
Braun Breaker will be in the main event of WrestleMania Los Angeles.
All right.
Of one of the nights.
You want to bet on that?
We are recording.
Are we doing double or nothing?
We are live.
Well, no, because I will have already cashed in my 6 stadium beers at SummerSlam.
You're not getting 6 stadium beers. With the price of gas going up the way it is, you ain't getting 6 stadium beers.
Just out of curiosity, what is gas? I can't even believe I'm having this conversation.
Well, this is
I sound like
okay. Now it's time for that political show.
No. Just how that gas podcast,
that gas show,
that gas price podcast.
Well, we know California is always up, right? So
in my area, it's $4.35.
I'm seeing $4.29. Jay, you pushing 5?
$5.79 this morning. Glad I just bought that brand new SUV.
That's electric, right? No.
Shit. I put $50 in and it got me to barely half today because I was in a rush.
My God.
I just got to get to work. So, so 6 beers at SummerSlam.
We'll cross that bridge.
I don't know, depending on what
there.
Yeah, based off of this past weekend, that may be the next time I drink. So
yeah. How about Dolph Ziggler, new NXT champ? Speaking of Braun Breaker, I'm presuming it's going to lead to a Dolph Braun NXT Stand and Deliver match. Did you guys
transition?
See it? Yeah, transition. Right, we're all. You're not going 2.0 with all the young guys, and you're bringing in Dolph Ziggler, right? So
this is how the WWECW fell apart. We talked about this earlier when Big Show, Ric Flair, Batista, Kane, Undertaker, all those guys came in, was the beginning of the end for WWECW. I don't want to see that now.
Okay.
It's happening.
All right. Well, so far, we'll see. Hopefully, the Braun Breaker will take the title back in about a month. Also, just a quick note, read that Miro has re-signed a 4-year deal with AEW. So,
Ryan, I'm surprised you didn't talk about Nikita Lyons being on the Lash Legend show. And if Lash Legend thinks she's over more than Nikita, get the fuck out of here. I don't even care that I swore. Nikita's been on TV for 2 weeks. She's been on TV for 2 weeks. They've been trying to pull this Lash Legend Wendy Williams bullshit for 6 months now. Get out of here. Get out of here.
I'll say
nice catch.
I am much more enamored with Nikita Lyons' in-ring ability and her appearance. The dialogue leaves something to be desired, but that's what NXT 2.0 is all about, finding the character, because there's it's definitely high school drama club level to me.
Here's the thing, NXT level up should be the finding the character. 2.0 should be refining the character to move on to the next one.
So then they totally eliminate the character that you just spent all that time creating.
Right.
But
and they change your theme.
Yes. I was surprised that they did the barbershop segment and then the Lash Legend segment back to back. I thought that was an interesting
lot of vignettes.
It was probably 10. I mean, it was a full block. So Nikita Lyons much more over in 2 weeks on TV than the other one.
More wrestling for her would be my vote. All right, so then so we're gonna move into this week's 5 count.
That Wrestling Podcast presents the 5 count.
That was not a smooth transition, but here we are.
No, wow.
Sorry about that.
I think your daughter could have done better than that.
Certainly so. All right, so it was announced about a week or so ago. A&E, they are like the extension of WWE programming, expanding their partnership with another 130 hours of premium WWE themed series and specials to air exclusively on A&E. So that's going to be including 35 new episodes of Biography, WWE Legends, and also the WWE's Most Wanted Treasures, which I know Top Dollar said he did sign on for more seasons, but he doesn't know if he's going to be there with these new seasons. I hope
he
so
does too.
It's a completely separate contract, he said, that is the actual WWE one. So hopefully that would be cool, right? Because he does a good job with that. So we decided with these new episodes that are coming out to list our top 5 episodes that we want to see with the WWE A&E partnership. Jason, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I just thought that they have 35 new ones that are coming.
It's a lot.
So let's get some people we don't know a lot about. And I'm going to start with number 5, the Killer Bees. As a kid, I thought it was cool that these guys who were a tag team, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we're just going to start wearing masks too and cheat, but we're still going to be the good guys. Jim Brunzell was a AWA standout with Vern Gagne. We know that part, but just the stuff about their time in WWF, how they became a team. And, I just thought that was a fun one. So that's my number 5, the Killer Bees. Number 4 is a guy who gave me my first managerial win. He is the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. He is the Honky Tonk Man. That. When I worked in Johnstown, he came to do an indie show. They worked in Angle where I was the manager for the Honky Tonk Man, and we won. He is Jerry Lawler's cousin. So I would love to see pictures of Lawler and Wayne Ferris, a.k.a. Honky Tonk Man, from when they were kids and those types of stories. And then, with the Elvis character, I'm sure he's done shoot interviews and all that stuff, but I think it'd be a little better, this way. Number 3 is someone who isn't very popular. But as a kid, I always liked to boo him. And that was Greg the Hammer Valentine.
That's a good one.
Another guy.
Yeah.
He's a Minnesota guy, but we just don't know a lot about it. what his background is. They were never going to make a WWF documentary about it because he was a bad guy. So that would be my number 3. Number 2, the Junkyard Dog. Now,
I thought about him. Yep.
I just think that was another one. As a kid, I was so entertained by the Junkyard Dog. I didn't, obviously, as a kid in the 80s, you don't know about race relations and all that stuff. Stuff doesn't matter when you're a kid. And it shouldn't matter as adults now. But unfortunately, the world sucks. So JYD is number 2. And number 1 is another guy who, fan favorite, everybody loved him. Tito Santana. He was like the ultimate. He was like number 2 to Hogan in that era. And then he went to like Strike Force with Rick Martel and the Matador. Yeah. So Tito Santana would be my number 1 WWE A&E documentary for guys that haven't gotten a lot of love over the years, and I want to know more about.
Nice, very nice. Go ahead, Joe. What do you have for us?
I'm gonna have to go with my number 5. And by the way, Jason, great list. None of them are a match, thank God. My number 5. We know enough about him, but I want the younger crowd to know about it. I want a Dusty Rhodes A&E biography because they keep talking about the Dusty Cup. And if Cody's on board, that means he can be one of the talking heads. Dusty, talk about his life going from wrestler, promoter, and NXT to Final Resting Place. What was that, Jason?
There is a WWE DVD set, Dusty documentary, and it's on the network too. But I know you want to add NXT and all the newer shit. Yes.
You want to add all that, and the simple fact that no one goes to Peacock to watch those documentaries because they're glitchy and full of commercials, unlike the WWE network. Speaking of Peacock and the things that never got to be shown, my number 4, because I don't really care to see it, but I want to see it because it's been promoted for a year and never was shown. Lex Luger.
Yeah, the icons.
The icons that never was shown.
Never came out. Yeah.
I want A&E to take over that. I want to see the dirt on Lex Luger after everything was done. After WCW. I would like to see that one. My number 3 kind of goes with the whole JYD thing and like in that era about race relations and everything like that. We know so much about his son, but he's never gotten the due that he's deserved. Rocky Johnson.
Okay, sure.
I would like to see an A&E 2-hour biography on Rocky Johnson, on Highest of the High, and then basically fighting at flea markets. We've seen it on the TV show, but I want to see it. And it's a way to get The Rock on there too.
Yeah.
My number 2, because I couldn't think of 5, I could only think of 4. So I asked my wife, who would she want to see? So my number 2 is her choice, Triple H. She just wants to see more Triple H. So I just threw like that was her choice. So way to go, hon. And number 1, A&E biography. We're gonna get the movie coming up. Why not get the biography before the movie comes out? Vince McMahon.
Well, it's because you're getting the movie. You're not going to get the biography.
No, but get it close to it, like the setup of it. It's like, you want to see more, see the movie. It's kind of like a promotion thing, but basically I want to see a biography on Vince.
I just noticed that your Zoom name is Sign More Guys, Joe. Sorry.
Welcome to the show.
Were you talking about Vince? Okay, good.
47 minutes later, Brian looks up at his screen.
What in the world? Yes.
And by the way, 3 more guys have been signed since the show started.
Yes. They're all elite. All right. No, that was a good list too. Jason actually suggested this topic, and when he did, I said, for me, 1 through 5 would be the Vladimir documentary. Please release it. But I decided to actually do some more work and come up with a list of 5. My number 5, Jason, you mentioned them. Demolition. They're kind of, they had a huge run in WWE, WWF at the time, but they're not in the hall, and there's clearly some tension there. And, Crush was in there for a little bit. They had the 3-man thing. So I think that would be cool to learn more about them. Number 4, more about a period of time with these wrestlers. The Edge, Lita, Matt Hardy love triangle, all the drama that went into that. That was crazy stuff, like in that time of like the internet and Matt Hardy getting fired and the angle to bring him back and all that went on with that. I'd love to get more of the, here we are 20 years later and here's what we thought about it. Number 3, another one, not on a wrestler in particular, but are you guys aware of the term Black Saturday? Black Saturday, that is when Vince purchased time on TBS to take over what was Georgia Championships Wrestling's time slot, which was on TBS called World Championship Wrestling. And there was a whole thing about it because Vince was trying to expand. He'd already had his shows on USA Network, and he tried to buy GCW not today, but Georgia Championship Wrestling, only for the Turner Network to reject him and say, no, it's not for sale. So what he ended up doing was he worked with the Briscoe brothers and Jim Barnett, who were like 3/4 of the company. And he bought their share, which allowed him to put WWF programming on TBS. And so it was called Black Saturday. It was the first Saturday, the old Saturday night 6:05 time. And Vince McMahon comes onto the screen saying like, we're going to be doing our wrestlers from Madison Square Garden and the Boston Garden. And all the Southern fans who were used to Georgia Championship Wrestling said, F this. And eventually it got back into WCW programming, but very inside stuff of how that all came about. I'd love to find out about. Number 2, Marty Jannetty. Another one that you kind of think about with the, what's so funny? With just the ups and downs, right? How the highest of highs with him and Shawn, and just the legacy, reputation, I should say, of him after the big split and kind of the downhill spiral of him. Hopefully it doesn't become a dark side of the ring story at some point. My number 1, Shane McMahon. Thinking about it on the lines of where Vince talked about it in McAfee about the relationship. Well, I kind of expected my family to do more. And what is that like coming from him, especially where it's rocky, everything that's happened with the Royal Rumble, apparently, where he's on the outs. And, there's just a lot going on there. And I'd love to learn about the family dynamic with him and his dad. And his dad is this larger than life personality and clearly is unlike anybody else with his 1:30 a.m. to 3 a.m. workouts. I'd love to get Shane's perspective of growing up in the McMahon household and into the business and how that all works. That's this week's 5 count.
Who made your 5 count? Let us know on social media using the hashtag TWP5count.
Another not so great transition.
I thought that was okay. We're
rolling. Go.
3,
here together.
2.
You forgot we're doing a show here. Come on.
No, 3, 2, 1. And what's his name isn't here, so we can't get his 5 count. But that'll do it for this week's show. Nevertheless, thank you, Joe, and thank you, Jason, for showing up for work. We appreciate it. Of course, at That WrestlePod for all things socials, whatamaneuver.net. Shout out to those guys. They showed us love on Twitter with the TWP Hollywood shirt and on their Facebook as well. So I appreciate the plug for putting out our merch. And we will check in with you guys next week, maybe on Thursday again, maybe on Friday. You never know. We keep you on your toes. That's how we like to do it on That Wrestling Podcast.
Thanks for listening. Follow That WrestlePod on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube.
1, 2, 3, that's it!